Hello, and thank you for clicking on my channel. So we're going to talk about how I can smile again. And on the screen you're seeing that I'm MKDIR, that's make directory. It pertains to the video. What we're going to be talking about, we're going to break down how I can smile again in 3 easy steps. I call them the 3 S's: the sacred, the self, and the science. So as I do that, I'm going to be showcasing what you can do on a Linux system as well. And here I'm copying some files, and we've just made 2 directories, full throttle and the boot disk. And right now I'm copying the files to the boot disk, and I'm going to do the same thing to the full throttle. So let's start with the self. Now I understand, and I've been there, that perhaps when we were young we were full of vitality, full of happiness, full of energy, and we had a smile on our face. And then life kind of gets us down. The dreams that we had seem so far away, and then obviously that is not a good situation we feel that we're in, and then we look to get that smile back again. And the good news is that it is possible, despite all the, you could say, the adult hardships that we did not know as children, although some childhoods are not happy, and that's a fact. But there is the good news that we can smile again. And then so let's talk about the self. So what am I talking about when I talk about the self? Just simply, I'll just put it down into practical terms. Just simply choose not to think. It's that simple. Choose not to think. I know it may seem hard if you start thinking about it, which is the opposite of choosing not to think, in terms of time. So if you're thinking about it in terms of 5 minutes, 1 hour, etc., then obviously then it seems a hard thing. But let's just say in this moment right now, you choose not to think. If you choose not to think right now, and you can do it right now, you'll feel a sense of peace. You feel a sense of well-being. You feel a slight sense of I wouldn't call it euphoria, but there's a slight happiness there. And then what I want you to do is I want you to put your attention at your center of gravity. Now, it's called the Tantien, or it's called the Hara. So basically, your belly button, if you put your fingers together, and then they're facing, let's say using your right hand, your fingers are facing to your left, under your belly button, where at the end of your little finger, that's your Tantien, that's your center of gravity. So it's basically about 5 inches below your belly button. And there's a reason why you put your attention there, because what happens is when you stop thinking, there becomes this surplus attention, because the thinking has shrunk. The way to understand it is that a lot of people think that the thoughts in their head are them, and that is not true. And the fact that you actually hear your thoughts as a second person, and the fact that your thoughts sometimes actually refer to you as in terms of another person, so they refer to you as a name, like someone talking to you. That tells you clearly that your thoughts are not you. So what are you then in reality? You are the awareness that makes this thought possible. So you, in fact, are actually a soul. You're not, I mean, we say we're human, but you're not the physical body, and you're not the thoughts. So just on the screen, what I've done is that I'm installing DosBox, and that will become clear. And for those who've seen the previous video, I've used SuperUser, that's SU-do, SuperUser do, apt, the aptitude store, and then install, and we've installed DosBox. There was a little problem with the internet, so I'm checking the internet now with the ping. So basically just ping, and then option C just says limits it to 5 attempts, and then 9999 That's the IP address of the DNS. It's quad 9. They're a DNS. That's you don't really need to know the reasons for that. So if we go back to that you are a soul and you are not your thoughts, then the fact that your thoughts shrink because you've chosen not to thoughts, then there's surplus attention left, and that kind of ends up floating around. Your attention is, sometimes will be at the side of your head, at the back of your head, or it just becomes silly. So the place to place your attention is your center of gravity, which is the Tantien, which is the hara, which is 5 inches below your navel, thereabouts, and then that sense of peace, that sense of well-being, that sense of maybe euphoria, it will be subtle at first, and then as life goes, the hardships will come. That's the reality of life as an adult. Maybe even when you're young, when you're a child, young child, there's hardships. When those hardships come, if you can find that place again, that place of peace, that place of well-being, that place of happiness, you could even call it, despite the hardship, and at the beginning you won't be able to find it, but you go to that place and you won't feel that sense of peace or well-being or happiness, and then you maybe wonder, well, when things were kind of ticking over okay, what happened to that sense of peace, well-being, happiness? It's called Satchit Ananda. If you go to India, that's what they call it there. I mean, they took like 3 words and put them together. Satchit Ananda, peace, something like peace, well-being, and happiness. That's what I'm called. So when the hard times come, and then when you feel that you need it the most, you think, oh well, why isn't it there? But you will still do the same thing, go through the same process of not thinking and going to that place of peace, and then putting your attention in your Tantien, your hara, your center of gravity, 5 inches below your navel. What happens is that the hardships, they come in waves. So the hardship will pass, and this too shall pass. That's what the Bible says, this too shall pass, and the hardship will pass. And what you'll find is that your level of well-being, that subtle peace, it goes a step higher. Because of the fact that you were put into a hard situation and you went to that place of peace, well-being and happiness, all of a sudden you'll find that your sense of well-being and happiness in normal situations has gone a step higher. And that's because the hardship that you're going through and the hard times that you're going through, that's like coal. It's like it's negative, it's energy, emotional energy, negative energy, but it is energy. And you have a choice in life whether you keep on you take that coal and you just shovel it back onto itself, and or you dig deeper for new coal and you shovel it back onto itself. So basically just producing negativity in your life and then repeating the negativity in your life. Or you can shovel that coal into the furnace of your life, which is the life energy, which is driving your life. I mean, we're talking about like a steam engine here. And instead of throwing the coal to the left, you shovel that coal and you throw it to the right. And then that steam engine is 5 inches below your navel. That's where it is. That's where you put the negative energy, the hardships in your life. That's where you throw them, because it's coal, it's energy, and it will start to drive your life. That's why it's there. It's negative energy. I mean, when you look at coal, you look at it and it's black and it's greasy, it's dirty, but it's powerful. It's powerful. So another situation can happen is that you get this, like this happens normally sometimes. Like when you're going through life, then you have these kind of days maybe where just everything seems peaceful. You get to that point where you're just at peace, just for no reason. You just happen to a bit of peace, and then when you've had enough experience of living, you realize then by God's grace, that doesn't last. But in terms of the external peace, like that, etc. But when you're in that situation, when you're practicing presence, which is what you're doing when you choose not to think, and from that place of peace, choose to be happy, and you put your attention at your center of gravity, you will find sometimes that you have this huge sense of euphoria, that you feel, wow, you feel great. And then you think that you've achieved enlightenment, and then it doesn't last long, and you come down from that, and it can, and then it feels really bad to come down from it, because you thought that was it, you'd made it, and then now you're back down to you've come down from it. But it's the same as the situation where you're going through the waves of hardship. It's that you will find that your base level of peace, well-being, happiness will be a step higher, and that's how to progress through life. That's how to just rinse and repeat that, rinse and repeat, and just keep on doing it. Then you start to find that your base level is above those minor frustrations that that in your way, that you seem to kind of face on a daily basis. And that's how you get your smile back, because because it's like you become a four-wheel drive, that those little bumps don't affect you anymore, and then life feels good. And then and then gradually that increases, and then even like some of the hard things in your life, they're not hard anymore. And then you'll get this weird sensation where on one day something really bothered you, like it bothered you to no end. I mean, and then the next day it doesn't bother you anymore. It's the same situation, and then but you're a different person. Why? Because in the first day you applied, you chose not to think, and from that place of peace you chose to be happy, and you put your attention at your tantien, at your hara, at 5 inches below your navel, and then the next day it's that base level has increased. You've gone a step up, and then so that's dealing with the internal. That in terms of smiling again. So it's not about forcing a smile on your face and then just being kind of, I don't know, like there's nothing behind it except just just a fake look that you're trying to portray to the world that you don't feel inside yourself. There's no point to that. You feel it inside yourself first. And this brings me to The Secret. And The Secret, the book, and then there was the video that came out with it. A lot of people kind of they put it down. Some people kind of I don't know, they say it worked for them. For other people, they put it down, and then some of the reasons they give is that it never worked for them because there's something missing in terms of like you're supposed to take action. Okay, that's true, but that was said in The Secret. I mean, if you bother to watch the video, and if you bother to read the book, The Secret, it says you need to take action. But what I feel is the fundamental misunderstanding of what is put out there in terms of who those people who talk about it, is that there's this obsession with thoughts. That they say it's the thoughts that attract the good situations or the bad situations. So negative thoughts, but it's not about thoughts. It's got nothing to. It's not about thoughts. The way The Secret portrays it is that the thoughts put you in an emotional state, and then by that emotional state is attracts the good or the bad in your life. So it's the emotional state that matters, and this is where the second S in the 3 S's that we're talking about, the self comes in, and that's that because of the fact that you've chosen not to think. So we've gone the other way. We're not really trying to think positively so we can feel positively so that feeling will attract positive things. No, we're going to the point where you don't think. I mean, thinking is okay. I mean, when I say don't think, I mean, you have to be a Buddha to not think, like, you if you're not thinking, you've achieved enlightenment in Zen, in whatever uh, Buddhist practice there's out there. You've achieved enlightenment. So that's no mean feat. I mean, only a few people have ever achieved that. But we're saying that you reduced your thinking, so you choose not to think for just a small period of time. It doesn't have to be that long. You don't have to be concerned about its length. We're not talking about even just being not thinking for 1 minute. It's hard, really. It is hard. Try it. I mean, it's not an easy thing, but it's just the rinse and repeat. So just by choosing not to think, and then you slow down your thinking, or you stop your thinking at that point, and then you feel that sense of well-being. It's that sense of well-being, that sense of contentment, that can sense of euphoria sometimes, or a subtle sense of happiness. That is what attracts the positive situations in your life. It is the feeling, it's not the thoughts. And then you may ask, for instance, like, okay, so like, I mean, let's say you tried, or you've tried it before, and then like you say, well, then the situation arose, and and uh, the door opened, and I didn't hesitate. I went for it, and then the door was slammed in my face. Why? That I mean, from experience, I believe that comes from the fact that it doesn't mean that the first door that opens for you is going to be the one that is going to be the breakthrough. At the end of the day, it's a numbers game, and you hear this from so many times, so many people, that it's a numbers game. So you will get rejected um, in life, and this comes back to smiling again. And then you will get rejected. But the fact that you're centered in yourself, that you're at peace in yourself, that you have that sense of well-being, that your external situation doesn't affect your internal. That I mean, it's like that you have already what you're looking for. You're not looking for it without, in terms of outside of yourself. You've got it within. I mean, if you're looking to be happy, things outside of yourself are not going to make you happy. But you can have happiness without those things. So internally, you feel that sense of peace, well-being, happiness, and you don't need those external things. And then strangely, um, well, what is the theory? I haven't experienced it myself. I'm trying, but it hasn't happened yet. But what is supposed to happen is that then those things will come to you because you already have it in yourself. So it's not coming from outside of you; it's coming from inside of you. And so the rejection itself is a test. It's a test. So whether you're gonna go drop back into the negativity, whether it's just a bold entrance and that was it, or you're really centered in yourself, that the rejection, although you feel the rejection on a surface level, internally you're centered and you still feel that sense of peace, well-being, and happiness. It's not something that reaches deep inside yourself, and that's how you can keep the smile, or you can smile again um, on your face, and then obviously you can try again, and you're not dependent on the outcome of the situation, or of it happening at a certain time. So that's the self. Let's go to the sense as well, because